Well, welcome along to Hong Kong Direct. Great to have your company for another edition of the show. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this week's episode. We're going to hear from the outgoing Chief Stipendiary Steward of just over 20 years, Kim Kelly, will be joining us on this week's edition of Hong Kong Direct. Well, the judicial room here in Hong Kong is going to look a little bit different in the coming months and years. Kim Kelly, the Chief Stipendiary Steward, will be bidding farewell to the Hong Kong Jockey Club. And earlier on this week, he sat down to chat with our very own Douglas Chalmers regarding his time here at the Jockey Club.
Kim, Hong Kong's been your home for over 20 years, but you're going to retire after the Stewards Cup meeting on the 29th. How are you feeling? And how do you reflect on your time as Chief Stipendiary Steward here in Hong Kong?
Oh, it's bittersweet, of course. I'm very much looking forward to getting back with back to the family. But Hong Kong's been home, as you say, for 20 years. Hong Kong is a wonderful town, full of wonderful people, and the horse racing is quite simply the best in the world and the most challenging in the world. So I'll certainly miss all of those aspects of Hong Kong. But as I say, looking forward to getting home with the family.
Just explain to us how difficult this job has been for you. I mean, it is one of the most demanding jurisdictions in the world. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of scrutiny. How difficult has it been for you?
I think pressure is what you make of it. I think people either survive or die off pressure, and I've been fortunate in that I've been able to deal with it in a positive way. I've always been a confident person in what I do, and I think that's half the battle. It's the argy-bargy of Hong Kong, it's the pressure of Hong Kong and racing that makes it what it is. It's a competitive racing environment and necessarily should be that way. That's what makes it one of the most popular sports in the town and one of the most intense betting commodities throughout the world. So that's there's nothing wrong with pressure.
So looking back, what have been the keys to your success, do you feel?
I think, Doug, it's been successful because of the support of the club. I think the Jockey Club is without doubt the most magnificent race club in the world, and it's very well led. Winfred, the CEO, and in Andrew Harding, the Director of Racing, you've got two men that are passionate about racing. They're passionate about Hong Kong, they're passionate about the Jockey Club, and they're passionate about the success of the Jockey Club and what it means to the town of Hong Kong. And also the staff. The staff are the most wonderful people that you could ever hope to work with, and they're diligent, and I've enjoyed working with them every day of my 20 years here.
What about the biggest challenges? Life, as we know, as a steward is never straightforward, and the job has thrown up a number of challenges for you.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it has its moments. There's been moments that have been more challenging than others. Certainly the incident in the Hong Kong Sprint some years ago, and one thing about that, that moment is memorable, not for what actually happened at the time, but what happened afterwards. The response of the club's veterinary teams, the response of the club's medicos to deal with what was a frightening situation, and the manner in which those departments dealt with it on the track in a highly efficient, highly effective way. The other moment, I suppose, would be the no race that DB Pin won when we had to void the race. I think $130 million was returned, but the memorable part of that was 2 races later, having the press in the inquiry room to explain the situation so that we got the right information out to the public in a timely manner. And I've still got the photo on my wall at home with the inquiry room absolutely heaving with people. And but that certainly goes down as one of the more memorable moments for sure.
Let's talk about the international role that you have as well. And I hope I get this right. You are the chairman of the International Harmonisation of Racing Rules Committee of the IFHA. Talk to us about that and maybe your achievements in that particular role.
That was a role that came with the Chief Stewards, or not long after the Chief Stewards role in 2009. The international stage is something that the Jockey Club takes a leading role in, and as it should, as one of the preeminent racing jurisdictions, if not the preeminent racing jurisdiction in the world. So they've got a desire, as the AFHA have, to have globalised rule harmonisation, and that's critical for all manner of reasons. One is to keep the customer satisfied that they're not going to lose their money in one set of circumstances one day and not win the money in the same set of circumstances the next day. So that's a critical aspect of it, but also that trainers and jockeys all work within the same set of rules. It's been something that has been very important to me and that I've enjoyed very much. It's had its challenges, but clearly the main takeaway that I've had out of my time there, and that role will continue on in some degree in the near future, has been the harmonisation of the protest objection rule across all the major racing jurisdictions, with the exception of North America. Japan in 2013, France and Germany and South America in 2018. That was a massive step forward for international racing, so that interference as far as it relates to the placings of a race are now dealt with and treated in a harmonised manner across multiple jurisdictions.
Are there any burning issues in world racing at the moment that you'd like to see changed in the future? Are there issues that we need to be working on to improve the sport of horse racing?
Well, I'd love to see North America come on board as far as the protest objection rule goes. Oklahoma in early September came on board as the first and only North American jurisdiction to work under the same protest objection philosophy that we work under here in Hong Kong. So that was a massive achievement, a massive step forward, and hopefully that's the first of many North American jurisdictions to fall into line as far as that particular rule goes. The other rule that I'd like to see a more harmonised manner is the non-runner rule. I think there's different ways that horses are treated as far as incidents at the start are concerned, and I think it's critical, again, for punters and for the confidence of licensees and owners, that there's a harmonised way in which non-runners are viewed around the world.
Back to Hong Kong, you're not only a stipendiary steward, but at the heart you are a huge racing fan. Give us some of your favourites. Who, in terms of equine talent, who's the best that you've seen here?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in that my role. It was once said to me that the Chief Steward has the best seat in the house, and I think whoever told me that was 100% right. I've got the best seat to every race that's ever run in Hong Kong, and I've seen some wonderful horses, wonderful jockeys, wonderful trainers compete. Of the locals, I think Silent Witness stands out above the rest. That 17 race run that he went through, and I was here for the lot of them. It was quite some trip.
The best in the world runs to him, goes by him. Silent Witness draws a length in front of National Currency. Silent Witness, what a champion, wins at a length the National Currency.
I think the other moment that I'd have to remember was Lord Kanaloa's second Hong Kong sprint. Just a dominating performance in a sprint race, where he just ground them into submission, and that was some sort of effort. So they're the two particular highlights, but I'd have to say there have been many.
And what about the future for stewarding in Hong Kong? Are we in safe hands?
You're in very good hands, very, very good hands. I think one thing I touched on it earlier, I think that I've always surrounded myself with good people, and that continues to be the case with the stewards panel. Terry Bailey, Ken Kwok, Jared Bush, Justin Ho, and the cadet stewards, and now with the addition of Mark Van Gestel as the chief stipe to take over, it's onward and upward.
Kim, many congratulations on your career. What are we, over 20 years? We wish you all the very best in the future.
Thanks very much, Doug.
Yes, many thanks to Kim Kelly for that, and very best to him as well for the future. Of course, his final race meeting will be the 29th of January. Let's take a look at the diary. Now, we're racing on Saturday, 12:15 the first race, so you can get all the coverage from 11:45. Back at Sha Tin on Tuesday for the Chinese New Year Cup, and at the 29th, of course, the Stewards Cup, the Group 1 and the Hong Kong Classic Mile, kicking off the 4-year-old series for this season. So a Sha Tin triple header. Now, if you needed any incentive to tune in on the 29th, just take a look at this. The Stewards Cup is the big one upcoming.
It's River Verdon from Happy Guy. Happy Guy picking it back, but River Verdon's won the Stewards Cup.
Billion Win won't give in, they hit it, Bobby, go, Billion Win. He won it a nose, he didn't give up, he won a half head if that too.
Beauty Generation's trying to fight, but White Cuckoo stamps his authority to win the Stewards Cup.
Well, it really could be a race for the ages, that one. Can't wait for it as well. We're just about out of time here on this week's edition of Hong Kong Direct, but as we leave you, a classic replay, and it is Waikuku, winner of the race 12 months ago. Enjoy this. He'll be turning up on the 29th. Hope you will be as well. Many thanks for watching, and goodbye.
As Waikuku ran to the lead past Healthy Happy, then Russian Emperor. Golden 60 has 4 lengths to make up. Waikuku with 200 metres to go. Golden 60 has 3 lengths to make up. Russian Emperor's coming with him. Waikuku's in front. Golden 60's running out of time. The fortress has crumbled. The record is safe. Waikuku has beaten Golden 60.